Your wall is 3 feet over the line, violating Section 4B of the covenants.
According to the official plat map, the boundary is right here.
At 4:27 a.m., I woke up to a jackhammer screaming outside my bedroom window, blue work lights flashing like a crime scene, and the sharp smell of fresh asphalt cutting through the cold air. I stumbled to the front door in socks, coffee still burning my tongue, and saw a brand new cinder block wall stretching right across the edge of my driveway like somebody had drawn a line through my life overnight. It wasn't just close. It was on my concrete. A guy in a neon vest didn't even look at me. He just kept drilling while dust floated in my porch light like gray snow. And standing there with her arms folded, smiling like she'd won a game show, was our HOA queen, Cheryl, in a puffy jacket and curlers, holding a clipboard like it was a sword. By May 3, 2024, that wall had turned my simple morning routine into a circus. My trash cans were trapped. My car was trapped. The Cul De Sac looked like a construction zone, and the neighbors drove around slow, pretending they weren't staring. Cheryl said, "All sweet, HOA improvement project, for safety." Safety from what, my driveway? Then she leaned in and lowered her voice like she was sharing a secret. The boundary line is right here. This is HOA land. You've been using it. I blinked at her like she'd grown a second head. My driveway had been there since the house was built. I hadn't moved anything. I hadn't touched anything. But that was the whole fight in one sentence. HOA built a wall onto my driveway at the Cul De Sac boundary that I filed the plat map. That wall wasn't just bricks. It was control, plain and simple. I tried the reasonable route first. I emailed the board that same morning. I called the property manager twice. I even walked to Cheryl's door at 9 p.m. with my hands up like I was approaching a wild animal. Cheryl opened the door just enough to show one eye and said the board voted, "Take it up at the meeting." At the next HOA meeting, I stood there with my polite voice and my calm face, explaining how I couldn't even back out of my driveway. The board stared straight through me like I was a lamp. One neighbor, Mr. Alvarez, wouldn't make eye contact at all. Another lady whispered, "Don't push Cheryl, she'll make your life hell." Then the treasurer said, "If you touch the wall, you'll be fined $200 per day for vandalism." Cheryl nodded like a bobblehead, and somebody actually clapped. That's when I realized the room wasn't a meeting. It was a stage, and they wanted me to play the loser. I went home shaking, not with fear, but with that hot, stupid anger that makes your ears ring. I stared at the wall from my driveway like it had insulted my mother. Then I did something that felt better than yelling. I started collecting proof. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. I printed every fine notice. I saved the voicemail where Cheryl said, "The boundary line is right here," like she was the city. Then I drove to the county records office the next morning and asked for the subdivision plat map and any easement documents for my lot and the Cul De Sac. The clerk didn't blink. She just said, "Sign here and wait." When the file landed on the counter, it came with 63 pages. I flipped through them like I was cracking a code. There it was, clear as day, the plat map with the property line drawn, the driveway easement noted, and the Cul De Sac boundary marked. The wall was on my side. Not a little. Enough that even a kid with crayons could see it. I didn't plan revenge with paint or fire. I planned it with paper. I built my case like I was making a science project. Timeline item 1 April 5 at 4:27 a.m. False trespass call. Yeah, that was Cheryl too, because I found the police report where she claimed I was on HOA land taking measurements at dawn. I wasn't. I was asleep. Timeline item 2 April 12 at 6:10 p.m. warning letter about encroachment, even though nothing had changed in 10 years. Timeline item 3 May 3 at 4:27 a.m. wall construction begins. Timeline item 4 May 4th at 11:36 a.m. Second call to police claiming I threatened workers, which was also false, and the officer noted I was calm and only asked for permits. Patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. That line was right on the city website when I checked, and I printed that too, because I was done being painted as the problem. Then I filed a complaint with code enforcement about unpermitted masonry work and possible encroachment. I also sent the board a certified letter with the plat map pages highlighted in neon yellow. No drama. Just facts. The payoff came fast, and it was beautiful in the most boring, lawful way. On May 10, 2024, code enforcement showed up at 2:18 p.m. with a tape measure and a badge that said City Inspector. Cheryl came marching out like she owned the sidewalk, saying, "This is HOA property, you can't," and the inspector held up a hand like "Stop talking." He measured from the survey pin, checked the plat map I handed him, then looked at the wall like it personally disappointed him. He asked Cheryl for the permit. Cheryl blinked hard and said the HOA doesn't need one. The inspector's face went flat. He wrote for a full minute, then slapped a bright notice on the wall that basically screamed "Stop work." Neighbors stepped outside like it was a parade. Somebody started recording. One teenager whispered, "She really thought she could build on his driveway?" Cheryl tried to laugh, but it sounded like a car that wouldn't start. Then she snapped at me, "You set this up." I shrugged and said, "I filed records. That's all." The police cruiser rolled by, slowed down, and the same officer from the false calls nodded at me like, "Yep, we know." Cheryl's smile finally fell off her face, right there in front of everybody. By the end of that week, the HOA had to pay for a survey, pay for removal, and pay for repairing my driveway edge. The property manager sent an email so polite it could have been written by a robot, apologizing for the inconvenience and confirming the wall would be dismantled within 7 business days. Cheryl got removed from the architectural committee after 6 separate homeowners filed complaints, and the board suddenly started reviewing procedures, which is HOA language for "we got caught." The best part was the quiet after. No drilling. No lights. Just my driveway back, clean and open, with fresh concrete patches that actually looked nice. Mr. Alvarez brought over a plate of cookies and said he was sorry he stayed quiet. I told him I get it. People get scared when one person acts like a small-town dictator. That weekend, a few neighbors came out with lawn chairs, and we watched the workers take the wall down block by block like it was a bad idea being erased in real time. Please follow for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below.